right. Welcome to 2025, everybody. I think we have done a pretty damn good job getting rid of bigotry, racism, sexism, homophobia in our country. But I think there's one place we're just gonna have to compromise, and that's driving instructors. Now, if you don't understand that, it's probably because you're not from New Jersey. I'm from New Jersey, which is the most densely populated and diverse state in the country, which means we also have the highest proportion of old white people who don't like that. So, driving lessons are pretty much the underground railroad for bigotry in the state. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about my old friend Mark, who was my driving instructor. You know, Mark's kids, they don't want to listen to him anymore. So, what's the next best step? Become a driving instructor and force young, impressionable minds to listen to you, to pay to listen to you. So, with one seat into his car, Mark knew that I agreed with everything he had to say with, obviously. So we get driving, and you know, when a 75-year-old white guy who has full control over your legal status to drive a car, and also your life at the moment because he's driving the car, turns and says to you, you know, there's a hell of a lot more Asians around nowadays. You just nod your head quietly and contemplate if he understands childbirth. And you might be thinking, Jesse, that's probably just your driving instructor. Surely they're mostly normal, right? And I'd say, sure, that's a pretty reasonable thing to think. But then we got to the DMV, and he recognized the driving instructor in front of us. And that's when I realized, you know how regular offices have like their water cooler talk? Like, oh, hey, Jenny, how are the kids? You know, take a sip of water. These gentlemen have driving lessons talk. They have driving trainees right in between them. So Mark turns to this gentleman who's probably about 45 and he says, "A lot has changed." And that immediately gets the gears turning in my head. You know, like, how long has it been since these two gentlemen saw each other? Did he teach the younger one how to drive? I mean, just in the last 15 years, we've got a black president, gay marriage, furries. They can be talking about anything. And then the other guy goes, "A lot." So that means they agreed. They knew exactly what this event was, but they didn't need to say it. And then Mark says it anyways. "Yeah, you can't hit him anymore or they call you queer." Now, in order to properly understand this, I think we need to acknowledge the high school gym teacher to driving instructor pipeline. I mean, my driver's ed teacher spent a good 20 minutes one day rationalizing smoking crack at the dinner table. That is true. And you know, once they get to this point where they've bottled up all these feelings for all these years, they can't say it in school, they'll get fired. Let's just have young kids pay to hear it. And so, you know, we're driving, and I talked to a few of my other comics, and they told me about the first times they drove. The highest speeds they were going was anywhere like 5, 10, 15, you know, if you were ambitious, maybe 20, 25. Mark liked me. He took me a little further out than he takes most people. And we've been going for about 90 minutes, and then he says, "Oh shit, I've got another appointment in 30 minutes. You can just pull over onto the highway and we'll get going." Now, I'm sure many of you tried the highway your first time driving, and I was like, you know what? I'm confident, I can do this. So I'm going maybe 40 miles an hour. I'm like, I'm pretty fucking good at this, right? And he's like, "Oh, no, you can speed up. The speed limit's 65. So I crank it up to 60. And then he does something that I never would have expected. He gets a phone call, and he picks it up, and it's his wife. And he's like, "Oh no, honey, I'm gonna be home real soon. Oh no, you can speed up a little bit. 85 is fine." And I'm thinking, am I teaching him how to drive? If I'm thinking of the two things that a driving instructor is gonna tell you not to do, it's go 20 above the speed limit and be on your phone. And he's doing both of those things right now. Before I go, I'd just like you all to think about the driving instructors and gym teachers in your lives, because they're really underappreciated and they've got a lot of really important things to say. Thank you, everybody.